Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on March 19th, 2024 at approximately 4:26 p.m. PST. Now, I've returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I bill myself as a spiritual because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use in my day-to-day life. And the philosophies of life I talk about are the same philosophies I guide virtually every movement I make by. With this in mind, I know these tools will work for you because they continue to work for me and have literally worked for thousands of other people over the years with varying degrees of success depending on their own personal efforts. Now, before we get into things, today we're actually going to be looking into bringing your dreams to life, giving your life, if you haven't already got it, giving your life purpose. Okay, now right off the bat, we have Joe in. Joe Stewart is in with the gold. And Joe, nice to be back. To be clear, and thank you so much for the well wishes. To be clear, family issues 2 days ago was family issues that have resulted in a number of changes, which I'll get to in a little while. Last night I was doing fine. We had a neighborhood blackout, so there was no way I was coming on until I think somewhere around 10 o'clock. And by then, no, we're just not doing it. Coming in with the silver is LA Moon. How you doing, LA? Glad you could join us. And we have, hopefully your day's been going well. I know you're always on the go. Bad habit of yours, kind of like the bad habit of mine. And Chad is in with the bronze. And this is the link to Chad's live stream. So absolutely drop in, give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, do give him a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of the thing. That would be really, really nice. The reality is, it is literally by sharing these links that we can bring this world into a better state of balance. Now we carry on down the line here, and we have Steve. You could join us. Now, couple of things right off the bat, like I mentioned, things that worked well. The family obligations did bring something to light, so we are going to be changing the frequency that we're on. Okay, effective immediately. We are no longer going to be streaming on Wednesday or Thursday. It's time for me to take a step and to take a step out of my own book here and literally start to take this literally to take my empire, what I desire to build. I love it when I get that, and I have no idea how to even get to that. Great. To phone me, and I have no idea how to show anything. Oh, there it is. And that we will simply decline. I do not like it when I end up with interruptions like that. Anyway, Storm, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Starting, hopefully your day is going well. Starting effective today. Okay, Wednesday we will no longer be streaming. Like I said, even if you've run your own business, but you've got people running it for you. The reason you close the doors 2 days in a row, back to back, is give yourself a definitive weekend. Okay, where you don't open the door at all. Because here's what happens. If you don't have, well, I'm missing a picture here. If you don't have those 2 days off, then even if you're not in the building, your mind is not going to take a break. Yeah, Yeah, we sort of end up with a skip. That skip was somebody trying to phone me on Messenger, and I couldn't figure out where the heck it was. So that's been shut down. I'll deal with that afterwards. So from here on out, Wednesdays, I'm just not going to be here. Okay, so that I'm closed down. That means I literally have time to go and do things with my family. Okay, and I'm not cutting into the rest of my life. Same thing applies to you. Like I said, I'm a firm believer. If I'm going to tell you this is the best way to run things, it's best I be doing the same thing. This is not a question. Do what I say, not what I do. Do what I say, not what I do. Bad idea. Now there are things I will tell you I will do. They are absolutely stupid for most people to do. Okay, it's just absolutely ridiculous. Nathan, how you doing? Glad you could join us. And where, pray tell, is that little link I'm looking for? Nathan. There we are. Now, this is the link for Nathan's live stream. So absolutely drop in, give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, give him a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of the thing. That would be really appreciated. At least I know by my standpoint, it would be really appreciated. I presume it would be by Nathan's. Okay. But it literally boils down to, slamming at work. Well, there you go. No, that's okay, Nathan. I do appreciate you dropping in. The fact of the matter is work has to come first. Okay, actually, in all fairness, family, then work, then entertainment. Now, with that in mind, this is why I've cut out the Wednesday run. Okay, so my work, yes, I'm still going to be running 5 days a week, assuming I don't have a heart attack or something annoying like that. They're inconvenient, I'll tell you that. Okay, and of course, Thursday is my gaming day, so I'm not going to come on there anyway. Right, but now with Wednesday being shut down, the shifting gears is this. Fridays, we are going to still be looking at the paranormal, working with energy, finding out the different tools we can work with. Okay, opening those doors, figuring out how energy actually affects your real world. Okay, and yes, we're about to get into the whole idea of how to bring your life to your dreams to life. Okay, now, on Saturday, we are going to be looking at your self-help tools, as in how do you take your life from where it is in practical terms? How do you make it your reality, in spite of whatever got you to where you are? And bear in mind, these are the same tools I personally put to use. As a matter of fact, my self-help books are literally built that way. Okay, now, Sunday is going to be a little shift. Okay, Sunday we are moving everything over to take a look at society on the whole. And what I mean by that is we're looking at Saturday at how to straighten your life out. On Sunday, we're going to be looking at how straightening your life out has a potentially direct impact on the community and the world around you. Okay, rest assured, it doesn't matter how big you are, what your walk in life, where you come from, none of it matters. Okay, you're all equally valuable and equally part of the overall system. Now, on Monday, Monday we are going back to, on Mondays, we're going to go into the alien side of things, technologies, cultures, show you what the link is between man's current evolutionary standpoint and some of the other races and organizations that are out there. Okay, and then of course, Tuesday we come back around to the creative side, to the gaming side, to how these link together, because I'll tell you, your imagination is extremely necessary in order to change your life. You've got to be able to perceive your life, to visualize your life looking different than what it currently is. Okay, now with that in mind, I am absolutely certain with the changes I'm implementing, I'm going to upset some people. Myself, I'm not worried about upsetting. I do that on a daily basis. But we are currently sitting at, according to my YouTube stream feed here, we are currently looking at 604 subscribers. Now, that's an irrelevant number in a lot of ways. Okay, but it does give me something quantifiable. So, move this out of the way. Again, now, how do you go about bringing your dreams to life? How do you figure out what your purpose is? Well, the purpose is the easy thing. Okay, here's a simple one for you. Ask yourself one question. Okay, and absolutely, I would love to see answers to this in the chat room, in the comments below. Okay, and if they're in the comments below, I will do my best to get back to them. Okay, in the chat room, if you've got a comment, I don't care what the topic is. And this is the big change as far as Sunday goes. Sunday is no longer relegated to open end. It will have a definitive purpose. But as a transfer on that, every day, if you've got a question, even if it's not in the same topic, even if it's not on the topic that we're discussing, absolutely put the question into the chat room in all caps, preferably, or at least partial caps, a wavy hand, something to get my attention. Okay, and rest assured, letter bombs are not appreciated. Well, that was an interesting noise. It's always a neat noise when you pick your coffee cup up and it goes, eh. I'm like, really? This is not an automated coffee cup. Although it does seem to have an automatic drain in it. So the itsy bitsy little question. Are you happy with your life? Or are you at least okay? If the answer is no, we get started on that today. Okay, because now's the time to put the creative side of life together so that we can get all the way through the next part of the week. And we'll get into a few other changes that are taking place. The second question to ask yourself, okay, or more to the point, to tell yourself, because it doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. These 4 words, I am worth it. Absolutely critical. Get those. If you haven't done so already, take these 4 words, get them onto a sheet of paper. I don't care if you take them on indelible ink, that's your call. Okay, but take those 4 words, put them on your fridge. Okay, why put them on your fridge? Because it's the one appliance in the house that pretty much everybody works with. Oh, look at that. Well, no, don't look at that, because you don't actually need to see that. The reality of it is this. The fridge is the one appliance in the kitchen that everybody looks at. This is why parents put their kids' pictures and artwork and writing and what have you on the fridge. Because everybody walks in, even if it's only an appliance, everybody looks at it. Everybody reads it. Okay, I shouldn't say everybody. Blind people don't tend to look at what's printed on the fridge. Unless you've been taking a hammer and center punch to cut something into it. I don't recommend that. Okay, so that'd be first and foremost. Now, once you've got that little piece done, I personally have that sign readily at hand here. Okay, plus I've got it on my fridge up front in that case, I put it on cardstock and laminated it and stuck it on my fridge. Okay, in addition to that, I've got that same 4 words on the front door to my apartment. So anybody coming in notices it, and they literally read right off the bat, because I've got it set up at eye level. I am worth it. Okay, I know people read this because shortly after I put it up there, a neighbor passing down the hall looks at it and goes, I am worth it. And he made that comment as I was approaching. As we can tell, lungs are working well. This is always good. Here we go. LA goes, I put mine in the bathroom since I rarely go into Storm's kitchen. But that being said, I also have it plastered on my computer since I spend a good deal of time there. You know, I've got, for me, when we talk about that, now, this is one of the books that I'm reading. I'm reading 3 books at the same time. This particular one was written by my little brother. But in it, I have this little bookmark, and you'll notice on the little bookmark, it says, I am worth it. The front of it, let's try that again. The front of it says, believe in yourself and follow your dreams. Okay, every book I do sell, I send one of these out with. Okay, if you buy 2 books, you're getting 2 of those little bookmarks. Okay, so I've got that book. I'm reading the Bible, and I am getting through it. Now, like I said, with the Bible, I told my father on his deathbed that I would read the Bible cover to cover. Thus far, I am finally at Samuel 18. Yeah, I'm on Samuel 18 right now. I have no idea how long this is going to take me. But you'll notice the little red mark here. That's the bookmark. Okay, so I'm about a quarter of the way through it, I think. And then, of course, I've got this one. Volume 3 of a Nature Encyclopedia. And again, I'm going through it. I'm about a third of the way through that one. Again, it boils down to this. When you get an idea in your head, how do you go about making it happen? Well, that's where the list comes in. Now, understand something. Your imagination is what drives you. Now, all thought, all change, starts in the etheric plane, up where there is no corporeal existence. Okay, that's where it happens. Okay, from there, it will either get to your mind or your heart first. Meaning, either you'll get this thought, gee, I've got to make this happen, or you'll get this drive that you really don't know what's driving it, but something just says you should. Okay, now the reality is that once it gets there, there's an old saying that goes, when your mind can conceive it and your heart can believe it, you can achieve it. Now, to this end, I've got virtually nothing to my name. Now, no, I'm not pleading for help. I'm not dying of poverty or anything. I'm deadly bored of poverty. But let's start with the obvious issue. Okay, how do you make your dreams a reality? Okay, well, anybody that's willing to volunteer one of their dreams to put up as an example, absolutely pop it in the chat room. I'll be more than happy to tangle with it as a direct template. Otherwise, I'll use my own. Okay, but the reality is the reason that we're revamping the stream in a sense is to start seeing direct change, direct positive shift in your world. My world I'm making happen anyway. Okay, I decided I was going to Reno. I'm going to Reno. That's already been bought and paid for. Okay, which means in 2 months, I'm in the air. Okay, now I am taking a plane. Well, more to the point, I'm going to get in the plane and let it take me. Because I don't know how to fly, so taking the plane is a bad idea. Okay, but what we are looking at is walking people through. I got thinking about it. We've got 8 billion people roughly on this planet. And of those 8 billion people, about 7.2 billion of them are really decent people striving to get ahead in life, striving to make a better world. And then we've got about 800 million that are excessively self-centered, short-sighted, bullies, control freaks, whatever you want to put in there for a label. Okay, every one of them is necessary, the good, the bad, and the neutral. The gorgeous, the ugly, and the absolutely plain line. Okay, every one of you is part of a massive system. And if it weren't for each and every one of us, we would not have a system the way it is. And yes, that means everybody is responsible for it collapsing. Okay, it's up to us. And I say us because you're the only people I'm talking to right now. Okay, but it is up to us to make changes that are necessary in order to shift gears. Now, I've literally had to take a step back and go, okay, what is most important to me? Well, this is going to sound really self-centered, and I encourage you to be just as self-centered. Priority 1, I have a very difficult to reach goal. Okay, now the theory is it shouldn't be that hard to reach because scientists have already proven that every one of your cells is replaced every 7 years. This being said, none of you are older than 7 years old. None of you. You're all kids, myself included. Therefore, there shouldn't be any functional reason not to hit my goal of seeing the 22nd century in a functionally healthy body. And here's the kicker to it. That functionally healthy body to make the 22nd century is going to make me 137 years old. That is not a world record. Okay, that I know of. About 25 years ago, there was a gentleman that I read about that literally came over on the slave boats, okay, and was 149 years old when he passed away. Okay, I'd love to break that. Okay, but I'll settle for seeing the 22nd century. Heck, everything after my first birthday was stolen time. Or more to the point, I was told, you're not done. Go back. And I'll tell you, I kept looking at it going, like, I want to go home. Like, I've had enough of this. But since I'm here, it's like, okay, enough is enough. Okay, so it's time to get started. In my case, okay, I am simply building an empire. And the way I'm doing that is by defying all of the rules I was told. The rules being this. As you get older, your system is going to fail. Your eyesight's going to collapse. Your memory is going to go away. You're going to develop arthritis and cancer, and you're just going to have a miserable old age. I'm telling you, I'm in better shape now than I have been in over 30 years. LA is going, my personal goal is to live healthy, live healthy, happily with enough resources and to a good age. Okay. And this is what we're referring to. Okay, and pardon my stumbling over reading, but what the heck. First rule of thumb. When we're looking at healthy requires a combination of things. Okay, modern medicine, you've heard my comments on it, but modern medicine coupled with holistic medicine, as in the old methods, okay, and personal effort. It's a three-pronged approach. Use your brains. Ask questions. If something doesn't add up, ask questions. Okay. If you don't get an answer that makes sense to you, ask again or ask somebody else. Sometimes you won't get an answer that you like. But if you continue flooding your system with negativity, I will virtually guarantee your system's going to run into all kinds of hiccups. Now, in my case, I don't watch the news. I don't read the news. I don't listen to the news. I catch little headlines here and there on Facebook, but the ones that say, oh, here's pictures of major wardrobe failures that nobody wants you to see, then don't look at them. Okay, it's that simple. If you're going to look at them, you're drawing negative to you. You're going to disrupt the energy in your life. Okay. And no, you don't have to believe me on that. Okay, it's like you don't have to believe me on gravity. I can virtually guarantee, though, whether you believe gravity works or not, you step off a balcony or step off just the porch. Even if you don't believe in gravity, you're going to, in all likelihood, find out that that's not necessarily a good move. Okay, gravity is a good thing. By the way, so are our negative experiences. You know, if you think about it, gravity doesn't let you jump off into outer space. Sorry, that being said, that's not always a good thing. I tried that. Didn't work. Yeah, Hillary goes, I've been pretty successful with healthy and happy. Resources, not always, although most of the time. Things are available as needed. The funny part about it, that's one of those things and one of those words. And we are going to get into that. I'm going to finish compiling or recompiling a list of words that it is imperative, in my opinion, to knock out of your vocabulary. Where are we here? Grab this. This is that neat little sheet for changes. This yellow sheet I'm using here is for changes that are being implemented, not next week. These are being implemented now. Okay. So that they can become a manifest reality. Thing is, if you desire to build your life into something new, you've got to start working on it. Sitting back, waiting for your God, your creator, your alien neighbor to come down and fix up your mess that you created by voluntarily, by freedom of choice, freedom of will, not freedom from consequence, by the way. If you're going to sit and wait for somebody else to do it, you're in for a really unfortunate shock. Okay, so one of the things that we have to look at on the Friday is going to be language. Now, I am firmly convinced that there are a dozen words that are absolutely self-debilitating. And we are going to cover those briefly. Okay, I can tell you right off the bat, if I cover one per week along with everything else, we're looking at that point 3 months of words that we will discuss, not only the words and how they become a negative, but words that you can implement, that you can adjust in your own life. Because when you speak in a negative fashion, okay, that creates an energy barrier that's going to draw negativity to you. Remember karmic law number 3, energy out, energy in. You start uttering negativity, you're going to draw it to you. Okay. With this in mind, there is one poem out there. Okay. When I was growing up, every Sunday we repeated the same thing. Okay. Now we always repeated the whole poem, but the sad part is I could only remember one line of it, but that was a rather important line. Can't is a word that is foe to ambition. Okay, now as the story was told to me, okay, I don't know who the author was, who was credited with the authoring of it, with the writing of it. But according to what my father told me, it was originally written by the famous actor from I think it was back in the 40s, by the name of Danny Thomas. He wrote it for his ailing daughter, from what I gather. And it literally said, one of the sentences in it is, can't is a word that is foe to ambition. Okay. With this in mind, I don't know who is credited with authoring it. I just know what Dad told me. Okay. But the moment you say I can't do it, not only are you creating the possibility, you're creating the reality of failure. Joe, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Joe's just letting us know, I stopped going to Catholic church with family a long time ago for certain reasons. But that does not mean I don't meditate at home to him. I do, but my parents think otherwise. Well, you can't do anything about the way your parents think. Okay? The reality is, now think about it, because I'm not going to go into this in too great a detail, but I will tell you this. As I've already said, I read the Bible. I'm a firm believer in God and Jesus. Somewhere in the Bible, and I never could quote it as far as passage went, but I am paraphrasing. Somewhere in the Bible, it tells you, and the church raised its arms up to the skies and its voice under the heavens above. Now, you show me a building that can do that, and I will more than happily go to said building. Don't show me that once I've got the money. That's one of those funny little dreams I would love to make happen. And come to think of it, with Nathan's help, or probably many of you other guys. Okay. Oh, there we go. LA is telling us that's in Revelations. I haven't got that far yet. You know, one of you guys undoubtedly has the technological ability to help me make a house. And I mean, I'm just talking a little tabletop house that will raise its arms under the skies and raise its voice under the heavens above. Okay. But I'll tell you, I haven't seen a church built today that you can do that with. I'd love to. It'd be great. Okay. I just don't think it's going to happen, in all fairness. Not until I get my tail feathers in gear. But the moment you start saying you can't do it, you're pretty much hooped. Because literally, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, ultimately, you're likely to prove yourself correct. Okay. Now, next step here. Take a look at the area right around you. Okay, whatever you're looking at, where you're sitting. Do you see anything that is not where it should be? That is causing a bit of a complication, that it's cluttering the area? Anything to that effect? Okay, now I've got my desk is cleared enough that I'm quite content with it at this point. I'm going to have to talk to this guy. I'll tell you, he's drinking my coffee. It's not nice. But when you're looking at your life looking better, you've got to put your imagination to use. Oh, yeah, but LA. Yeah. LA goes, I try not to look at Storm's desk area. Well, the idea there is you don't have to. That's his area. When I'm talking about straightening out the office area, I mean the one you're working with. Okay. And I'd lay odds that your area is a little more organized than his is. Although I will tell you this, if Storm is anything like I am, he's got his own filing system or his own organizational system. And that's the key here. When I talk about clearing it up, I don't mean you've got to have everything off it. I mean everything that's on it has to have a purpose. Well, that's where you need a cat, LA. Cat would solve the problem. Cat, you just put them on the desk, shove everything onto the floor. Hence why it is highly improbable that the earth is flat. There are way too many felines with the idea, up, it's on a flat surface, push it off. Okay, but the fact of the matter is, get your own world organized before you worry about somebody else's. Now, what is this? Speaking of which, I think that was. Okay. That can go over there. This, because it's where I don't desire it to be, it goes where I require it to be. That's the satchel I take with me when I go out to write. Okay, so you start with where your brainchild is. Your computer, where you work on your finances, where you work on your entire life. Okay, now obviously the theory is you got a brain here. Now, LA, this is fantastic news. It's also a prime example of how what we are talking about here can and will affect the people around you. Okay, because as you get the energy in your world straightened out, it will cause other people, not all of them, but it will cause some other people to start shifting. There we go. Joe goes, my sister Anna sent me today as a gift a 9-foot statue of Saint Joseph. It's sitting on a piece of wood right now by my bed wall. I love staring at it tonight. Here's the thing there, Joe. In my house, you couldn't get a 9-foot statue into my house. At least not standing upright. That being said, I don't require one. But I gotta ask, that statue, is it carved like just a wooden carving, or is it painted as well? And that's just a curiosity thing based on aesthetics. I've seen some phenomenal carvings. I myself am not a carver. Of course, I'm afraid if I tried carving something with the way my hand shakes on occasion, quite a consistent occasion, I may punch a hole in my hand. Not an enjoyable thought. But you get the energy straightened out. When you start imagining, when you start dreaming of a better world, okay, and you start eliminating or modifying the energy in your life, what you will find happen, okay, what you will find happen is that the world around you starts to shift gears. Because once you change the negative energy and you realize better surrounding myself. Now, again, guys, if you've got any questions that come up, okay, about anything, doesn't matter the topic, absolutely drop me a line. Okay, absolutely drop a line and let me know. I think what I should do here, what is this? That one. I just need to require these out of my way. Those all go in a file where they belong. like I said, when you see something, leaving it sit doesn't make a lot of practical sense. So, they're now no longer in my way. Now, the neat part about it, when you're told, and most of you were told when you were 4, maybe 5 years old, okay, most parents, even parents that claim to believe in the spiritual or the metaphysical world, even they will turn around and tell a child that's a wonderful imagination, Munchkin. Now it's time to grow up and act like an adult. And I'm thinking, like, I failed that lesson miserably. I got to 5 or 6 years old. I did get told that I had to take responsibility for things. Okay. Net result, by the time I was 9, I had already started working full time. Okay. But seriously, never in my life have I been as jacked on the idea of working until I started this stream. This issue of working for myself. Okay. Now, I am working for myself, but I am working for the benefit of every single individual on this planet. That's what I came back here for, is to turn the lights on and go, okay, guys, enough running around like a chicken with your head cut off. Time to start changing your life for the better. Oh, now, a 9-inch statue I can work with quite well. I mean, I don't mind the idea of the 9 foot, but 9-inch at least fits. Well, that hurt. I went to stand up and we did the normal thing. Ouch. Popped the knee out of place. By the way, that's usually painful. I am curious. Now you got me thinking. Now, just simply because I was curious, sure you guys recognize this. They call it a tape measure. It's a weird idea. But we are talking about a statue that's that tall. Okay, I am curious. You bring that to mind. I'm trying not to hurt myself here. Like I said, I've got some odd things I keep around. This one is 13. Okay, I ended up with this one. And that one up there, which is going to take me half a second. Guess this became show and tell. Match set, I have no idea how I came across them, how they ended up in my house. But these guys sit up on a shelf up there. And guess what? Right between them, which might give you an idea of my outlook on life. Right between the two of them, I have my UFO. Right on the same shelf. I don't know if that's sacrilegious or not. I always thought sacrilegious meant you went in and robbed a church. But I'm thinking that's a bad idea. That was done back in the Crusades. There's no point in repeating the process. I do collect odd things on occasion. I mean, heck, Jesus and Mary, a UFO, and a human skull. Why diversification? Probably. But like I said, you desire your life to change. The first thing you got to be able to do is dream of it being different than what it is. You know, if you cannot visualize your life being different, here's a neat little trick. Okay? Here's a neat little trick. You can't visualize it necessarily, but you got your pen in your hand. Now, in order to move this pen to my other hand, I have to be able to use my imagination to see that as possible. It may be done on a subconscious level, but once that image is put there, I desire to change my life. I desire to change something as simple as which hand my pen is being held by. Watch, it isn't painful. We're told change is painful, change is difficult, change is scary. Ooh, scary. Now it's in the other hand. Just like magic, it moves from one to the other and back again. I'm telling you, you desire your life to change. Get off your tail feathers. Quit listening to people that tell you you can't do it. And by the way, that also applies to you telling yourself. Now, I will tell you, much as I'm a firm believer that you can accomplish pretty much anything you put your mind to, there are certain things I will not recommend. I don't care how well you believe you can fly. Way too many people have jumped off building tops going, I can fly, and it works out great for the first 12 floors. Unfortunately, that's the sound that it makes at the end of it. Now, I will tell you, the fall doesn't tend to kill people. It's only killed a half a dozen people in all of time. It's that landing at the bottom end that ends up causing all the circulation problems. You desire your life to change. Take a look in the mirror. Take a look at the world around you and go, am I content with the way it is? If the answer is yes, stay put. Okay, and like I keep telling people, ask me how to change something. I'll be more than happy to point you in the right direction, or in a direction that I personally have either tried myself and experienced, or that enough other people have given a shot to. Like, for instance, much as I can tell you how to quit smoking, how to quit drinking, how to quit doing drugs without withdrawals and without medication. By the way, if you're on medication to stop doing something, stay on it. Okay, if it's working for you, utilize it. But when I quit drinking and drugs, I quit them cold turkey. Okay, no withdrawals, no setbacks. Never fell off the wagon. Well, I fell off the wagon a number of times, but it had nothing to do with the alcohol. But I implore you, quit listening to people that tell you you're going to die. I'll get it over and get it out of the way for you. You're going to die. Can't tell you when. Actually, that's not 100% correct. Joe goes, my father will be 75 on March 31st. He'll be getting his 9-inch Blessed Virgin Mary statue by truck, and my sister Anna too. It should arrive by his birthday. That's fantastic. Especially, it becomes that much more important when you realize that, especially with your father, with your father and sister, they're very tied to that side of things, to that connection. Therefore, the statues hold that much more importance. Okay. So, imagine a world where you're not struggling tooth and nail. Okay, where you're not fighting tooth and nail to just get ahead. This is the world that we are going to show you how to get. It's the same world I am in the middle of building for myself. This is why I say the tools I offer are ones I personally am putting to use. Okay, now I will tell you there are so many people that go, oh, you must donate this much money because it'll get you into heaven. Money won't get you to heaven. They don't use it up there. What are they going to do with it? Okay. Money won't even get you much of anything here. Okay, because I will tell you this. The happiest people I've ever run into didn't have money. Okay, what they had was a network of supportive people that encourage them to get up and live life. It's child's play. Everybody can die and will die. The question is, are you ready to start living? Okay, that's the challenge. Take into consideration what is left of your life. Whatever your situation, find something to look forward to. Okay, maybe that is going to church. Maybe it is going to a temple. Perhaps it is going to a senior home or to a community center and just interacting with people. Okay, whatever gives you a little bit of an uplifted feeling, whatever it is, put it to use. Okay, now it is critical if you desire your life to change, you're going to have to be the one to imagine that world that you're living in being in better shape. Now you'll notice, if I imagine that all of this is gone, I can sit here and picture it until the cows come home, until I get up and actually take a razor to it. And it will be an electric one. I'm not about to take my chances on a safety razor or worth a straight edge. Okay, those are good ways of getting me killed in a hurry. I mean, if I relax my hand, you think about it. Okay, we take a razor, a straight edge. Okay, you take that and I relax the focus in my hand. Now, that is what my hand normally does. The ironic part is my left hand doesn't. Of course, I'm not really that versed with the left hand. Take a look at the world. Not content with the way your world is. If you've got a goal, no matter what the goal, now is the time to go after it. You may not attain it by the time you set it for in the first place. Maybe you had dreamed of having your doctor, your MD, your MD or your PhD by the time you hit 25. Reality check, if you're already older than 25, you're not getting that PhD by the time you're 25. But I will tell you, it is not too late to get it unless you're dead. Then you might have a hiccup. And I'm not entirely certain of that. But I'm talking about being physically dead, not being mentally dead. Because I know a lot of people that seem to be not literally, because I feel for the ones where they're literally brain dead. But there are so many people I've run into that I look at them going, did you actually think before you did that? Okay. Or did you just take it for granted that the person was being right? Okay. I'm a firm believer you desire your life to shift. It is time to make it happen. Okay. And I am no longer able to passively sit by and go, if I ignore things, if I continue to hide and continue to stay in the shadows, I am going to end up. I'm going to watch this world change. I will watch it change. But the problem is, if I do nothing, if you do nothing about your life, you are accepting the fact that it's going to continue on the path it's on. Now, are you content with the way your life is? Or are you ready to put your feet on the floor, get up, and start making it different? Start altering the energy that you're putting into it, or the energy you're not putting into it. Now, let me just see something here. Grab that. We go over here. We go refresh that. That's live stream. I'm just taking a look at. Now, again, guys, if you like my stream, do me a favor. Give us a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel and share the daylights out of the thing. Now is the time for us to start really pushing the idea of working together to make this a better world for virtually everybody. Okay, absolutely imperative. Okay, the question at this point is, what are you content with and what are you not content with in your life? Okay. Okay. In my case of a publishing company, well, Inner Voice Enterprises, we are building an arc. Okay. We are building an empire that will provide healing on all levels. Now, I am not talking about healing as in, oh, you get a bunch of doctors lined up and they make you feel better. I mean, they will be part of the equation. When I look at the healing side of it, we're talking about with that in mind, this stream, positive perceptions, will remain free. Okay. Any questions asked here, I'm not charging for. Okay. This and Positive Perspectives, the newsletter. And thank you very much for posting that there, LA. Okay. Both of them are free venues. Both of them. All you got to do for Positive Perceptions, all you got to do is log in. Join us on YouTube here, which clearly you've already figured out. Positive Perceptions, as LA just pointed out, at the top of the stream, you'll see a link to buy me a coffee. In there, you can request the newsletter, the free newsletter. Okay, and all you got to do is drop me an email directly asking for it. That's it. Okay, there's nothing big about it. It's not going to cost you a plug nickel. But if I don't get a direct request for it, it doesn't go. Okay, but those are both solid venues. The thing is, will I sit down with you one-on-one in order to help you get your life in order? Absolutely, I will. Okay, and that link as well is at the top of this stream. That Buy Me a Coffee covers all of it. And the really bizarre thing about it is that particular setup. Yes, it does cost a little money. It's their system. Now, why did that look weird? I don't know. Had to look down because on my live feed here, it looks like there's a line through my email address. Now, the nice part about it, okay, when you take a look at your life, at the way it is right this moment, you're the one that's got control over whether it changes. Not, you do not rely on the spiritual leaders, on the spiritual leaders that say, wait, somebody's coming to straighten it out. Not the way it works. You got free will, you got free choice. What you don't have is freedom from consequence. Okay. The aliens are not coming down here to straighten out your life either. And that one you can be grateful for. Because most of them, and we'll get into that on another day, most of them have a very simplistic outlook on solving a problem. Kind of like many parents. When you were a kid, do you ever remember you sitting there, your mom would say, clean your room. And I don't want to clean my room. Or you'd go and occupy yourself somewhere else. And then mom and or dad would come in and clear your room. But their idea was simple. Let's collect up all your stuff and get rid of it. Now the room's clean. Now, I'm telling you, I did a similar thing when I told my kids to clean their room. And I wasn't as forceful as I should have been. If they didn't, I didn't throw the stuff out. But I would take the stuff away from them and put it in storage for a while. One of the things we have to remember is when you desire your life to change, when you get literally fed up enough with having it sit the same way, that's about the time that you're going to start making things alter. Okay. Until then, you probably won't be doing a lot. Even if a doctor comes up and says, even if a doctor comes to you and says, you got to make this change, your life depends on it. 9 times out of 10, it didn't make an impact. Yeah, LA's going, I'd pack my kids' stuff up and he'd get to earn it back. And again, this is a neat little idea. Okay. This is a neat little option of going, okay, you didn't do what was necessary. We remove it. I'll tell you, when you're fighting with finances, throwing stuff out just to be, just to make a point, not a good idea. Okay. But putting it out of reach, out of range, and then letting them work towards getting it back works like an absolute charm. Most of the time, the stuff gets there. Okay. And I mean, let's face it, we ran into a problem with shipping a book out the other day that didn't quite get where it was supposed to. But that will be rectified. Well, it got sorted out. But I'm very happy for your father there, Joe. Everybody requires something to look forward to. I get up in the morning and I kid you not, I do look forward to this. Although I do swear the guy's drinking my coffee. When I get done the stream tonight, my son has decided he's going to run a 5th edition game of Dungeons and Dragons. So I'm going to be playing with him running game. And I mean, the kid has a phenomenal mind where it comes to storytelling, which doesn't surprise me. His great grandmother was an author. I'm an author. His uncle is an author. So it comes quite readily. And of course, he's got another uncle that used to be a gamer, and I'm a gamer. What we're doing is taking all of this insight, all of this information, and utilizing it to change the way our world is working. The same thing can be done for you. Okay, it doesn't have to be done in a fantasy setting. When you're looking at your life the way it is right now, you put your imagination to work. Picture having all the finer things in life. Absolutely do so. Okay. I'm like I mentioned the other day, I've got 1, 2, 3 bookshelves with oak bookshelves because I like oak. May have something to do with a past life of mine where I was actually a druid. Okay. Neat thing with druids at the time. Okay. The funny part was the people feared the kings because the kings could mobilize massive armies. Okay. And take out pretty much anybody. But the kings feared the druids because the druids could walk out on a hilltop and go, "We are not the droids you're looking for. Go home." And I kid you not, the whole freaking army would stand there going, "Why are we out here in the middle of the bush?" And they'd turn around and wander off. Sometimes they wouldn't even know where they were heading because they wouldn't remember where they came from. But sure puts a damper on a war. And again, guys, I'm not talking about overthrowing anything. I'm talking about you taking dominant control of your life and co-creating a life that you're content with. I get a kick out of it. I take a look at that. Now you think about it. My own ancestry, if I look at the corporeal, the human side of it, okay, my family comes from Scotland, okay, originally. Well, my clan is exactly, from what I gather, is the clan that was responsible for Scotland only being listed as occupied, not as conquered, from what I've gathered. Now, if my memory is off, well, wouldn't be a shock. But what I've been told is that little sword at the bottom of the British flag is because of the Andrews clan. Because we just wouldn't give up our land. Okay. Now my father, he became back in 1940. 1943. Yeah, 1943. He became the blood grandson of Chief Walking Eagle out of Rocky Mountain House, Alberta, Canada. The Blackfoot were never defeated. Okay, I'm Canadian. We've been involved in a few wars, but we have this really bad habit of just not giving up. And of course, even the doctors dictated I was supposed to be dead. My life and turn it around and become a driver. Okay. And that word, that funny word there, impossible. I love the way the American military puts it. The difficult we're already doing. The impossible simply takes us a little longer. Now, I look at the word impossible and go, I'm possible. Whatever you set your mind to, whatever you let your imagination see, you can, in all likelihood, co-create. Now, you'll notice I mentioned the term co-create, because in the world of creation, okay, you may not have all the skills necessary, but you certainly have the skills to ask for help. And if you can't do something yourself, ask somebody that's done it successfully. Now, I can take virtually anybody using their own money and turn the lights on to help you put your finances back in your own control. Of course, you're the one that's going to have to do the work. And again, these funny little books, these are the ones that detail the techniques I personally use. Okay. These three being: believe in yourself and follow your dreams. The backbone to how I turn my life around. Believe in your career, in your business, and follow your dreams. The backbone to how I literally built my empire. Now, yes, I call it an empire. It's not that big yet. And then we have believe in your finance and follow your dreams. Okay, all of these are readily available at that neat little link above. Christine, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Oh, I'm dealing with raw chicken. I'm hoping it's all red, that it's deceased. Other than that, well, actually, in all fairness, dealing with a live raw chicken could be a lot of fun, depending on your idea of fun. See, I'm lucky. I'm back here doing live stream. Up front, my son, who is a trained cook, is making supper. This works out well for me when I get done here. You know, now, and when I mean now, I don't mean the end of the show. I don't mean a month down the road. I mean now is the time to change your life. You know, Christine, chickens are really a pain in the neck to try and chase. I used to chase them when I was a kid. Didn't catch them very often. But there is a point to all of that. I mean, some people say, "Oh, don't eat meat." I'm telling you, just make sure that that the meat is dead before you eat it, because it will complain a lot if it's not. The nice part about it. Oh, by the way, this morning, this is just for those of you that requested it. Okay, this morning I started to put to paper, believe in your organization and follow your dreams. Okay, because it's time to get that out. Time to get a lot of things out. So that is one book that I've just started working with. I also, with Return to Paradise, the third book in the novel series, I finally got the back end sorted around. Okay, so I now have all the pieces except one already written and in place. The one being the climax, being the massive battle and the end of it all. I still have to write, but that's okay. At least I know where it is. And I'm in the middle of changing things around to make certain I can get it done right. So I've also, by the way, started with Return to Paradise. I've started going through the final edit. I'm not even finished the back end of it, but I'm going through the final edit to make and to put it all together. Again, when I talk about what I'm planning on doing, all I do is go, here's what I'm working on. Where did I put it? Here's the list of tasks I've got for today. Starts up here and goes all the way down to here. Well, I've only got 1, 2, 3. Nope, that one I'm done. Well, I'm not done it, but you get the idea. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've only got 6 things left on the list. But this means I've got over 20 things accomplished already today. And I'm not done my day. It's only 20 to 6 Pacific time. You desire your life to change. It's time for you to hit the floor running. Okay, starting tomorrow, because we can't do it today. Starting tonight. Doesn't matter what time you go to bed. Pick whatever time you choose. Set a time to get up in the morning, regardless of when you go to bed. Set your alarm clock. The most successful people globally are up and mobile. Stan, you are more than welcome to think it's fake. You're more than welcome to it. Okay. Now, one thing I will let you know: what you believe is great. The neat part about it is there's room for all of that. I am glad you joined us, though. Okay. From my standpoint, I've got all kinds of belief structures I'm not going into. Okay. One thing we don't do, the one thing we don't do is we don't tell people how you have to live, except karmic law is critical. And it would be wise, if you haven't been here before, okay, because I think I've seen you in here before, but if not, check the top of the stream and the top of the chat room, and you'll find a list of rules that it would be advisable to follow. Okay, we had a problem in here a while back, and it caused me such problems as to create a heart attack. I don't feel like another one. So what I've done. Oh no, I realize that, Stan. The funny part about it from my end is I came to the conclusion, if I don't say anything and I bottle it again, 2018, December 28th, at approximately 8 o'clock in the morning, I had a stroke because of the fact that I bottled what I was feeling. Okay. And I came to the conclusion this is a lousy pastime. Okay. I ended up in the hospital. It was a really neat shade of gray. On the darker side of what I've got now. But my skin was a really neat shade of gray. Couldn't walk, couldn't talk. Not going through that again. Heart attacks I can deal with. They're painful, but I can deal with them. Not having another one. Just don't feel like it. The nice part about it is when I look at the world, okay, and my world around me, and I'm telling you, it applies to you. There's an old saying that goes, all that I do, thou shalt do, and more. If I can change my life from being an extreme recluse, living on the edge of poverty, to being this way, a little outspoken, tad pig-headed, absolutely no. Yeah. Absolutely not there, Stan. I personally do not research, period. Okay, and here's why I don't research. I meant to cover this before. When you're researching, you're reading up on all the things that have been found. Okay, most of it is regurgitated. Okay, I rely on personal experience. Oh, I know you want to help. I understand that all too well. And that's why I'm not taking offense to it. It's just it brought something to mind. Oh, I don't know, Christine. I have them in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. You know, I've tried heart attacks at pretty much any time of day. Fortunately, I haven't had a problem with staying dead. Matter of fact, that's what's got the doctors confused. But when I was talking to somebody today, and like I told them, I am working. Actually, today I'm now working on 3 hours of sleep. Yeah, I'm now on 2.5 hours of sleep. Okay, between midnight and midnight, for the last more than a year, I've been averaging 5 hours a night of sleep. No medication to keep me awake or to put me to sleep. My health is as strong as it ever was. You know, one of the things that we have to realize is that when we're looking at the reality of life, you have the ability. Okay, Stan, just a minor point. You got good versus evil. You missed one. Okay, there's 3 components to that. Yes, there is good and evil, but the thing is, it's the action that is good or evil. The other part that is not good or evil, and is the part that most people overlook, is there is a neutral component. Okay, it's not a question of it being mean, of it being beneficial. It's just the other balance point. Okay, and what we have to realize is life is a balance. You've got to have access to good, to evil, and to neutral in order to actually have life move, because it is built on a 3-point existence. You desire your world to change. You got to make a choice. You're going to sit and deal with it the way it is, okay, and potentially complain about the way it is, or you're going to get up, okay, or you're going to turn around and you're going to make things shift. Here's an idea. Here's an idea for you, Stan. You want evil thoughts? This little book is post-apocalyptic. You'll notice this fine little immortal name here. You know, R. Keith Andrews. There's a way to get immortality in a sense. But what goes on in this book is a whole lot of things, and not all of them are nice. Whoop, that didn't work that well. But you know, they say that thinking about doing something is as bad as doing it. I'm telling you, if it's as bad as doing it, then thinking about doing something by default must be as good as doing it. And you'll notice my house is still not all organized. Something about I keep thinking about, well, you know, I got gremlins around here. Why the heck don't they do my housework? Doesn't work. You know, one of the nice little things that I look at is this. I know full well you have the ability to change the way your life is. You absolutely have the ability. What you may not have is either the know-how or the comprehension that is within your grasp. This is what we are bringing to the table. A world where you actually can see what you can do to change your own life. Okay. Now, I will tell you, Stan, like I noticed this. You know, Stan goes, we're all glorious losers. I'll tell you, number one, glorious, I don't see myself that way. A loser, not at all. I'm a dropper. 2 years ago, I was 60 pounds heavier than I am now. Okay. And by stubborn disposition, changing the way I was eating, well, more to the point, changing what I was eating or how much, and getting a little more active. Contrary to popular belief, okay, in the modern medical world, a pill doesn't make you drop the weight. Okay, not at least not always. It will help you do it, but I question when somebody says you can drop 60 pounds in a month. I'm thinking, yeah, but all of that waste has to go through your kidneys, okay, or your liver or your bowel, whatever. How much of a strain is that putting on your body? Myself, I did not get medical treatment or medical guidance for that matter. I simply cut stuff back. And what I found in my case was I dropped a pound to a pound and a half a week. In other words, 4 to 6 pounds a month. Okay. And here I am 2 years later, 60 pounds lighter, with one serious drawback. I get flaming cold in the winter now. I used to be comfortable to like -10. Okay, aka about 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, but I used to be comfortable to -10, used to be comfortable to +40. Okay, about 200 or about 112. Well, that's just it. I didn't end up with a whole pile of extra flab, of extra skin hanging around. I don't know. I'm not overly impressed with the lack of muscle, but I think that means I got to get off my butt and actually exercise. And these people that put out these ads. Oh, take this pill. You can sit on your butt and you can actually gain a washboard stomach. I don't know. Missing something here. One of the things I look at is this: you desire your life to change. Doesn't matter what aspect you're working with, whether we are talking about where your career is, where you are dealing with, what you're dealing with, what change you're making. Okay, doesn't matter what it is. Whatever field you're interested in, your health, your energy level, the career you've got. Okay, one thing about the career you've got or the job you've got, if you're not content, okay, if you're not content with your life, and where it comes to your career, do not make the really short-sighted move of quitting your job before you have a replacement income. It doesn't end well. I heard somebody the other day, heard a comedian, and he goes, guys, you got to look at marriage in this fashion. 40% of all marriages end in divorce. He goes, and that means when you think about it, 60% of marriages end in death. So this comedian goes, think carefully about getting married, guys. It doesn't end well. Okay. That's the reality of it. That way, and this was a comedian. I'm like, any marriage can work. And like I told my other half, I've helped people get marriages back together after fidelity issues. Okay, and put solid marriages back on track. Like I told my other half, you ever cheat on me, there won't be a discussion. It's not it can't be done. It's a question of I won't even make the effort. I'll just pull the plug. Now, maybe I'm a bit too controlling. I mean, let's face it, I told her I wouldn't let her drive downtown. Of course, she looks at me and she goes, well, why not? I says, Dare, you're blind. And she goes, oh, forgot about that. I don't know if that's controlling or not. The thing is, you desire your life to change. I'll tell you this other little detail where it comes to healing. You're told, most of you have been told, as you get older, your eyesight is going to fail. Okay, it's going to get worse. Well, you go back 15 years, holding my glasses right there. I could not physically see them. Okay, I stumbled across a neat little technique, okay, whereby I now have for reading 20/20 vision. Okay, these I use for driving. They're not great for working on the computer anymore. But honestly, I literally point the finger at the medication they put me on because it dang near made me blind in 2 months. Not a good side effect. So from my standpoint, it boils down to this. If you can imagine your world in a different state than what it's in, that's when you can make a change. That's when you can put one foot in front of the other, and you can make the alterations to the energy that is affecting your life. But you gotta believe that it is possible, and then you've got to put the effort into it. Now, here's a future thing that I came to the conclusion of. These books, individually, okay, they all literally read, believe in your whatever and follow your dreams. Now, I came to the conclusion, I'm working on number 4. I literally started it this morning. Okay. When I've got all 12, okay, which could be a couple of years before I get them all done, because I got way too many other things on the go. When I get all 12 of them done, I will repackage them along with a little extra information. And we will end up with the issue of attaining your dreams. Individually, they will take you partway there. Combined, these will change your life as long as you put the tools to use. And I know that sounds absolutely bizarre. There's a lot of really good teachers out there, really good programs that can help you modify your world. Okay, the fact you're listening to me at all tells me wholeheartedly you're not content with the techniques you found. Okay, these books are literally designed to take the simplest and take the most complex problem and break it down into simple changes that are easy to implement. Okay, this is just the reality behind it. And again, guys, if you've got a question, especially where it comes to anything in existence, if you've got a question, pop it into the chat room, ask away, or drop me a line in the comments. Okay, I will do my best to answer the question. The reality of it is, I may not give you the answer you're looking for. I will give you an honest answer, but that's where it comes to a halt. One of the things that we have to realize is that if we are going to change this world for the better, for virtually everybody, we've got to get off our tail feathers as a society and make it happen. One person isn't going to do it, but one person can start it happening. Just as one rock rolling down the hill does not an avalanche make. But I will tell you, you can start one, and they are no fun to get caught in. One of the biggest things that you have to realize, okay, is that as this movement gains momentum, we are going to, as a society, we are going to witness changes in a positive nature that most people are not even going to believe are possible. Okay, billions of people sit and listen to somebody tell you the world's going to end. Okay, and by the way, maybe it's just a philosophy problem, I don't know. But when people tell you we are ascending to the 5th dimension. Good luck with that. You're stuck in the 3rd one. But you can change the way your world is operating. You absolutely have the ability to do that. Okay, the only thing I'm doing is going, okay, I spent 55 years sitting in the shadows, waiting and hoping that people would figure it out. Unfortunately, this left a whole lot of people coming up with really neat ideas like, we're always going to be the same. Mankind isn't changing. Well, mankind has not been taught to change. You think about it, mankind's changing anyway. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when you were a child, when you were just 2-3 years old, or more likely, more consistently, when you were less than a year old, I'm betting dollars to donuts, you didn't go and use the toilet. At that age, you'd have probably, fallen into it. I gotta check that, Joe. I did see what you put there. Could have sworn that I had you sitting here already. I'm actually looking at my address book here. Joe, just because of the fact that I know I've got you listed, I'm not going to tell you what. I'm not going to utilize your email address, but drop me a line and I will get it out to you. I will get February's out to you tonight. February's out to you tonight. March isn't quite ready to go yet. Or is it March? No, March is out. Okay, and I will get it out to you tonight. The last one. The new one, you'll get anyway. But it seems, because I've got an email address here for you, but if you're not getting it, I may have something written down wrong. The reality of it is, where are we here? No, I don't need that. I need that. Where did we go? I love hearing clunks and bangs around here. Anyway, people are told consistently, our life is not going to change. Mankind is the same as it's always been this way. Newsflash, wasn't always this way. People used to go out of their way to help people in need. Nowadays, so many seemingly watch people suffer and leave them that way. Okay, and like I said, I'd lay odds when you were a year or two old, I don't care who you are, the odds are you didn't use the toilet. Okay, in today's world at your age currently, my suspicion is you probably use the facilities one way or another. Okay, people can change. What they haven't had is somebody standing there going, hey, by the way, number one, you have the ability to change your life, and here's how you can do it. I am not the best teacher on the planet. I am not the only teacher on the planet. I may be one of the few that will tell you, I don't know everything I'm doing. There is much that I do by trial and error, but I will tell you what I have done that has worked, I am quite willing to share. Okay, the reality is, if you keep doing things the way you've been doing them, if you keep imagining your world is going to stay the way it is, you can bet your bottom dollar it's going to stay the way it is. You've heard the concept that an object in motion stays in motion and an object at rest stays at rest unless acted upon by an outside force. Okay, you are that outside force. Your life will change when you decide that you're ready to make it change. No matter what anybody else tells you, myself included, by the way, unless you make the effort, it's not changing on the whole. Now, yes, Some people have found out the hard way that other people's actions can drastically change your life. Okay. And sometimes, unfortunately, it can be literally overnight. Okay. Now, you cannot undo that which is done, but you can certainly guide the energy in your life to co-create a better world. And by doing so, your life will take a turn for the better, and so will the lives of the people you interact with. That's just the reality of it. And all you got to do is make one small commitment. And that commitment is to nobody but the person in the mirror. By the way, this funny thing that we're looking at, not a mirror. It is reflective, but my guess is my ugly mug is actually having much more of stands out a whole lot better. No, this is not an ugly mug. It's a nice little mug. But the individual looking back at you from any reflective surface, that's the one that's got control over whether your life stays the same. But yes, it does require an imagination. You've got to be able to visualize your life shifting for the better. And then you got to get off your tail feathers and make it happen. By all means, if you don't know where to start, absolutely. Number one, talk to somebody that's done it successfully before. Where it comes to me, well, let's face it, been bankrupt twice at the guidance of professional financial advisors. Twice. Both times, absolutely a stupid move. Now, that said, I am not a licensed financial advisor. I simply know what I've done. I simply know what has worked for me. Again, I'm telling you, you have the ability with your money, in most cases, to turn things around and get your life back in your own control. If you don't know how to do it, absolutely ask. Okay, now I am working on this neat little book. I literally just have to track it down. I've got this one on my computer somewhere. Okay, in another format. All I gotta do is take this book, Fortunes Forever, and transfer it over into Word so I can get it put to print. This one covers how to literally track your finances. Now, if you already know how to do it, this one becomes like, who cares? If you don't, I write all of my stuff, everything from the self-help side of things is done in the simplest fashion I know how. Okay, because I'm a firm believer. Everybody has the ability, though they may not know it. You've got the ability to make your life better with a little bit of guidance. Yeah, Joe, I was. And it was funny. I remember, I was working with a gentleman. I was working with another druid. Okay, I cannot tell you the name of the area. Of course, half the time on this planet, in this lifetime, I can't tell you where I am. But I remember the army. I remember a massive army coming down the valley, and they were closing in on a little town that myself and this other gentleman had sort of adopted in a sense. They had taken us in, and we were just travelers at the time. And they took us in, offered us hospitality. They were really nice people. And this army was bearing down on them. And my friend and I, we walked out onto the hillock on either side of the valley. They were coming down the middle because, well, let's face it, you walk down the middle of the valley, it's easier. So we went up on the top of the hill on either side of it. Whoop, there we are. Up on either side of the valley and looked and concentrated our energy down on the bottom of the valley. And I kid you not, an entire army of, I would guesstimate, about 15,000 people were standing there And all of a sudden, they were marching through, and all of a sudden they all stopped. And they went, why are we here? They got very confused, very lost. All we did was put a fog over their brain. That was it. This can still be done today. Okay. And all we did was put a fog over their brain so that they didn't recall why they were there. The privates, the sergeants, the captains, the lieutenants, didn't matter. We just blanketed the whole lot of them. Now, the unfortunate part was many of them never found their way home because they couldn't even remember where their home was. Okay, but you got to remember, Druids were the scientists at that time. They were the doctors, the herbalists, the researchers, the sages. They were the ones that practiced everything they could, that they learned everything they could. Many of us specialized in one thing or another, but the Druids were the seekers. Okay, and this is why the kings were worried about us, because they couldn't get to us. Okay, it was kind of comical. And no, I am not indestructible. I am not perfect. In all fairness, this lifetime I can be killed pretty easily. I just don't take to the death thing too terribly well. LA goes, seems to fall back with choice come consequences. With choices come consequences. Absolutely. These people were just following orders. We didn't have anything against them. We just had a problem with the idea they were going to end up wiping out this nice little community. So we modified the rules. Seems to me, those of you that know me already know this, we have a tendency this lifetime of changing the rules. Primarily because most of them we don't agree with. Like the idea of, as you get older, you're going to go blind. You're going to develop arthritis. And I look at that going, why would I take that on? Why would you possibly look in the mirror and go, as I get older, I'm going to go blind? I don't see the point to it. Okay. Now, am I in perfect health? Absolutely not. But I will tell you, karmic law is simple. Energy out, energy in. You concentrate on the idea that you're going to develop cataracts because, your mother had it, your grandmother had it, therefore, genetically, you're getting it. You notice you're not your mother or your grandmother. And if you are, there's something really weird going on, and I'd love to hear about it. But we all have the ability to alter the life path we are currently following. The only thing I'm offering is to turn the lights on and tell you where the chair is in the middle of the hallway. Okay, you want to trip over it after that, that's your call. Now, I'm not the best teacher. Okay, I'm blunt. Some people would say I'm opinionated, which I am. I'm one of those people that would say that, by the way. So I look at this world going, there's a real problem here. We have to start looking in the mirror and going, I'm no longer content with the way my life is running. Okay, now is the time. Now is my time to succeed. This empire I'm talking about, I've already got it laid out, where 80% of my net profit is set to go back to the population. Okay, now I'm talking net profit, meaning I know how much it costs to run my household. Okay, to run my household, literally I can do it on $2,500 a month. My share of that is about $800. I think that's what it works out to. I got to run the numbers again just on principle. But that means I take the first $2,500 and put it aside. That gets used for me. Everything over that will go back to the community. Well, 80% of it will go back to the community in the way of helping the poor, helping the sick, helping the lost. That's just the way it's going to go. Now, the one thing I will tell you, much as I will end up taking 10% of that net and putting it into charity. Do understand, much as I will take money to take food to the food bank, to the SPCA, I will do that. I will never turn money over to them again. Not with what I found happens after doing a whole bunch of checking. 90% of the 90% of the charities take over 70% of your donation. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Okay. 90% of the charities I know of take more than 70% of what you're giving them for charity, and it goes into their own flaming pocket for administration costs. When I'm talking about taking charity, or about dealing with a charity, I will be taking 100% of the money allocated for the charity will be going to said charity and go to the people that require it. The cost of it will come right out of my company. And again, this boils down to my looking in the mirror and going, this is what I desire to happen. This is the way I desire my life to unfold, not the way you have to run yours. Okay. It literally boils down to, if you desire your life to change, you're going to have to be the one to get up. You're going to have to be the one to look in the mirror and go, I'm not content with this anymore. Okay, I'm not content with my life being this confused, this tangled. I'm no longer content with my house having all kinds of clutter in it. Okay, give you an idea of the amount of clutter I had. I used to have 2 boxes that were literally just boxes of boxes. They're gone. Okay, but there is no question from my standpoint that it is time for us to start working together to make this a better world for virtually everybody, in spite of the current business moguls, religious and spiritual leaders, politicians. Doesn't matter who it is, in spite of what they're up to, in spite of it. Okay, it is time we as a society turn around and start making this world better. That means change the negative energy you're focusing on. Every time you look at something negative or you read something negative, okay, look at or read or listen to 2 things that are positive. And I'll go one further than that. For every minute of negativity that you draw into your brain, okay, draw 2 minutes of positivity. Absolutely imperative if you are going to change the way your world goes. If you continue bombarding yourself with things that tell you the world's going to collapse, okay, what's going to end up happening is you're going to find your world collapses. But it's not because somebody else did it. It's because you turned around, ignored what you saw, and bought into the idea that there's nothing you can do about it. Okay, now let me ask you this. I've got a pen in my hand. I don't desire the pen in my hand. You can think all you'd like about it. That pen's staying in my hand until I choose to let go of it and put it down. Okay. Now I know people that I've run into people that can make the pen disappear right before your eyes. Okay. I'm telling you, on TV it's easy because I just drop it down so you can't see it anymore. And then while it's out of sight, and I am no magician. I take a look at the world that is real from what I've seen and go, I'm not content with my world anymore. I'm no longer content to sit in the shadows and go, if I sit here and wait long enough, somebody's going to grab a brain. Somebody's going to actually start changing the world for the better. 55 years of this lifetime has taught me one thing. My sitting back and watching and waiting has contributed to the problem in a monumental fashion, especially since I've known since I was a child that I was here for something much bigger. And I just went, I don't want to do it. I'm not interested in it. I long held, I don't desire to be on a pedestal. I'm not that special. And it took somebody looking at me one day and going, Keith, and this applies to you guys, you cannot stop somebody from putting you on a pedestal. You can't do it. They will do what they will. But what you can do is you can make certain that you don't see yourself as being better than anybody. Okay, this is the time to really take a look at your world and decide, are you content with it the way it is right now? If not, imagine a world where you walk out the front door and instead of worrying about who's going to shoot who or who's going to rip who off, I got somebody dropping something in my lap the other day. What are you going to do when the money is no longer valuable? Well, bad news, guys. Money hasn't had any backing for like 15 years, and we're still here. I'm not about to put my effort into worrying about what happens when it's no longer there. But I am putting my effort into what am I going to do with all the clutter I've got around me? I'm getting rid of it. I'm disposing of the clutter I no longer desire to have. It's going. Whether it goes to a secondhand store, to somebody that I know desires it, that can put it to use, or whether it goes to somebody that's a total stranger, I don't know yet. I don't care yet. It's going to go. The box of boxes that I had, it went to the recycling instead of cluttering up my house anymore. And I think I've got another one around here as well. But it now is a case of I'm no longer content to sit back and wait for it to change. Just not going to happen. And if you desire your life to change, you're going to have to do the same thing. Let us see. If I go here and I hit refresh, okay, didn't get to it. That's okay. Now, the nice part about this, you have total control over your life. Okay, you clearly cannot control it entirely. Oh, I appreciate that, LA. All I was doing, I was double checking to see what was going on over on the screen that you guys are watching. Okay, I do that from time to time, primarily because I'm curious. But the thing you've got to understand is you desire your life to change. You desire to bring your dreams to reality. Get them on paper. Do a big overview to start with. Okay, then break those goals down into 15-minute to half-hour projects. This will help you attain your bigger dreams. My dad used to put it this way: take care of the pennies and the dollars will take care of themselves. There's an African proverb that goes, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Okay, how do you move a mountain? One teaspoon at a time. It takes a while, but you can do it. Okay, used to be a show back on a series back in the late 70s, early 80s called You Can Do It, Duffy Moon. Some of you may recall that show. Okay, I always got a kick out of the actual title. But we have a world here that we have absolute control over whether our individual world is going to stay the way it is, whether or not we're going to let other people tell us, oh, you're not good enough. The publishing company part of my company that I'm putting together is going to publish other people's works without telling you it's not good enough. Okay, or it's not big enough. It's not whatever. I will tell you, there are a couple of genres I will not print, not because they're not well written. Okay, I will not print books or poems, anything that is if you will, adult oriented, as in it is beyond, it's beyond X-rated. I won't do it. Violence, I will print. The intimate side of life, I'm not printing it. There's lots of places out there that will. I also will not print anything that details overthrowing a government or an organization just for the sake of overthrowing it. Okay, not going to happen. And the reason for that is because of the fact, in my eyes, it is promoting something that goes way beyond acceptable. Now, this doesn't mean it shouldn't be printed. There's lots of phenomenal artists in those fields. Okay, I do play around with the question about ones that are listed as as fiction, and in other words, this is the truth. Because I'm telling you, I've read books that this is the truth wasn't. Okay, and that concerns me. But when we are looking at science fiction, science fantasy, when we are looking at short stories, children's stories, that are designed for entertainment, absolutely. I do hate the subsonics. Absolutely. I am putting together a poetic anthology and an anthology of short stories that will be comprised of other people's work when the other people's work comes in. And if you're interested in that, absolutely drop me a line and I will fill out the details for you. The reality is we're hitting the 2-hour mark here. So I want to say thank you so very much for sharing your time with me. I really do appreciate it. The fact of the matter is you could be doing anything with your life, but you're choosing to share your time with me is definitely appreciated. With that in mind, I'm bringing this to a close. I will be back again tomorrow. But until then, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.